Hey, so we're doing an install today. Install is going to require some under the hood and behind the dash work. I'm going to be installing this camera kit that I got. It's off of eBay. It's nothing crazy. So we're gonna give this kit a shot. I gotta figure out how it all goes together because the instructions aren't great. But I am gonna try to get it to work, and if it does work and it works well, I'll link it down below. If not, I'll link the pieces that you should probably get instead and go that route. I'm going to do the front first, which is pull the front clip away, and to do that there's 5 clips or so. Maybe it's 6. I think it's 6. It says 5, but there's 6. Which just really needs a screwdriver. If you have the special tool, cool. If you don't, whatever. Just take a screwdriver, pop that in there, pull that out, and then once that's out, you can pull the entire thing completely out like that. These are reusable. All I do is pop that back in, push the other piece back in. So I'm gonna get these all pulled out real quick, then I'll show you what the camera looks like, and we'll see if I'm gonna have to modify anything. The clip's pulled away, as you can see, and what I did is this camera, and I will show you what it looks like in a second because I just wanted to try to figure out how the heck it's supposed to fit. It goes right there. It does say in the instructions, and I do agree on this part, to not tighten it too tight yet until you have it all connected so that you can verify what it looks like, make sure everything's in place, all that stuff. There's a little connector down here, and run it up here and up through to somewhere over here. I'll figure it out once I get there. From there, we get to disassemble the dash piece here, because there is one spot that you have to take and in the wiring harness of the Uconnect, and this only, I think, works only with the 8.4 inch screen. So if you have the smaller screen, I'm pretty sure you can't do this. It unfortunately does show as a cargo cam, so is what it is. I didn't get it from the factory. That's my own fault. I'm gonna run this cable now, and I'll time lapse it, I think, so that you can see how much trouble it is for me to run a friggin' cable. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, so you see I stopped the time lapse. Turns out, because I didn't want to go through the firewall hole because I have too many wires going through it already, I was trying to go through the cowl, and the cowl requires that I take the windshield down slightly, which meant the T-tops have to come off. So, or rather, freedom panels. Why do I call them T-tops? I don't know. Anyway, freedom panels are off. I had to remove the 4 bolts that are all the way over there for the windshield, and I took my switch panel out, popped off the edging there, which I think I already showed you, and popped off the cowl. So now I should be able to get this wire up into there and drop it right down in that spot there. Remember, this is all because I can't fit my hand down there. Now, in a non-diesel, this will probably be a lot easier because you can just put it through that hole. But I also have my Midland radio going through that, and a few other pieces. So, I'm gonna close this door, I'm gonna rock this forward, and I'm going to feed this into the cab, like so, and up through this little spot right here. It will probably pinch ever so slightly, but it should be okay because it's got a little wire covering on it. Alright, there's my wire. Right, feed that through so that it's all tucked up behind. And then it's on to the rest of the pieces. So after all of that, I have the wire in the vehicle. And from there, I need to run it down through here, underneath, and then back up in to the radio itself. That'll be next. Potentially today, maybe tomorrow. If there's a change of clothes, you'll know I didn't finish today. The next step, which is going to be to take, that's not cool, this bezel off of here, which is going to require that I take off this piece here. So, just kind of moving things out of the way. Typically use a smaller tool, but I don't have one on hand. There we go. And it's just a couple of clips. Just kind of pop it forward. In this case. There we go. Pop that. I'm just kind of over it. Yeah. I'll disconnect this plug. Just push in, and then this plug is also just to push in. So, okay, get this out of the way. There's a couple screws here. Screwdriver here, which, if you don't know, is just a Linus Tech Tips screwdriver because I'm a nerd, and yeah, I like the way that it feels, and I own about 3 different ones. I've got the short, stubby one and 2 of the long ones. So, pull out that screw, pop in the cup holder, and this screw. And pull up that cup holder too. Alright, now, there we go, now the bezel's loose. You just kind of pull. Alright, so just a bunch of clips in the top. Is definitely dirty. Next part is 4 screws. Take the radio head unit out. Now I should just be able to pull this out, and I can. Okay, so on the back here, you'll notice that there's a bunch of wires. We only really need to disconnect the main big one. So this main big one here is the one that we're concerned with, which requires that you push that piece there and pull out. The reason we need to do that is we have to take off this shield. And when we take off the shield, we have to put in 2 wires that get tucked away that go to this head unit. So pulling that off of there, just take a decent sized flathead screwdriver, put it between the red and the black piece there, and kind of just twist it slightly. And do that for each end, because otherwise you're going to break it. There we go. So it should pop off one big chunk. This is what locks in all your pieces, so don't break that. From there, have to figure out which pin you need. It'll depend the year yours was made, which one you have to do. So I need to figure that out now. It clips in, they kind of click into place, and then from there I need to take this doodad here, and it should line right back up with where it was before. So I'm just gonna snap that in and then make sure it goes all the way down. And I may have broke mine, so we'll see how well that works. The way that I'm going to do this now is I'm going to go ahead and put this back in, and remember, right, goes this way. I gotta undo that clip again. How does it come undone? Alright, push in on that a little bit. There we go. Alright, from there, should be able to take this and push it back in where it goes. Should only fit in there one way, so it's kind of hard to mess up, but I've seen worse people do much worse. So we're back in. I'm going to take this, I'm going to slide it back in the way I took it out, which is this way. So you have this little pin at the top here. That goes up at the top. So I have this little doodad, I'm going to have it hang down here while I slide that in place. Enough to hold it in place. So we've got our little piece hanging down here, and the rest of the cord went through at about the location that the push button start is, taped to this coat hanger so I can pull it through, pull it up out of there. I'm not putting everything back together until I have it operational, because if something's wrong, then I don't have to try to figure out where it was wrong at. I took out the screw, okay? There's a screw that was right here. Take it out. Then I pop these out. Would it be easier if I remove things beforehand? Yes. Do I? No. I don't know that I've ever done anything easily. Alright, cool. It's down here. See this plug? Well, this kit comes with this little Y harness that utilizes that plug and plugs back into it. And then you just feed the power up. So I'm going to unplug that, plug it into this, plug this into that spot, and feed my two power wires up. Comes the remainder of the harness pieces. So this harness, I'm just trying to get you in a place that makes sense. So we have a RCA, which is probably why typically video quality is with these. We have the plug-in that goes from inside the engine bay to this piece, which is slotted, so it should only fit in one direction. I just kind of spun it a little bit until it fit and that locked in place. And then from here, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to yet. This kit does include a fuse to be able to put in line. Good squeeze. Okay. So now, that's those pieces. Now I have to kind of cobble this together because, as I said, I don't want to put this all away until I'm 100% sure. So we're gonna take cable here, plug it in, take the cable here, and plug it in, and then from there, I'm gonna go ahead, put in run mode. Hopefully the radio wasn't blaring. I have a problem with this. we need to go to the Tazer. If I remember right, it's left and cancel. Radio, it's probably in radio. Camera enabled, yes. Cargo cam, we're gonna say yes. Okay, from here, I think the rest is all good to go. The instructions don't say it, but you do need to do a full reboot. So I'm going to full reboot it. So if we go into the screen here, backup camera, over here we have cargo cam. It's not front facing, but it works. However, it's upside down. I'm not 100% sure if there's a way to fix upside down yet. Yeah, let me figure that out. And I will let you know. Maybe I just have it mounted upside down. So it turns out I'm just a moron and I had it upside down. So once you turn the camera the right way and remount it, you don't have the problem of it being the wrong way. Go figure. So the way I have it now, it shows like this. I'm gonna play with it a little bit, mount it a little bit differently. Alright, so all in all, I moved it back up to where it was, and with that being spot on, you can just barely see the horns here, so it'll give me that view of what's in front of me that I really don't have. It doesn't have the lines because it's a cargo cam, technically. I wish the lines were there, but I can't have everything, I guess. So let's get everything put back together, and then let's get to using it.